What is up, you good-looking people? All right, today we're going to be going through some fun stuff. Every objection that you've ever gotten, money, timing, partner, I need to think about it, that's actually not the problem, okay? The real problem is they cannot see clearly. And what this leads to is it leads to people being confused, and confused people don't buy. Not because they're broke, but because they can't move without having clarity. Think of yourself in any situation. When you lack clarity, you tend to lack movement. When you have clarity on what to do, whether that be going to the gym, as soon as you know what to do, you have a structure of how to do it, you're more likely to get things done inside the gym. Same thing happens in the buying process when people are wanting to move towards buying something. They need clarity. Now, I'm Liam Shaw, if you aren't familiar. I've closed over $10 million in deals using one principle. I don't overcome objections. I create clarity and objections start to disappear. Let's jump into what is the framework actually. Your job, like if you take one thing away from this video and you go and embody it, it's to stop convincing people. Your job, it's not to convince people. Okay, your job is to remove the fog. It's to make things so crystal clear where they are, where they want to be, that it becomes inevitable that your solution makes sense to get them there. Because when someone can clearly see, again, where they are, where they want to go, and why they're stuck, the decision, it tends to handle itself. And objections become weightless because you're no longer handling this uphill battle. You're just dealing with what is to get out of their way so they can get to where they want to be. Okay? That's the framework. If you take one thing out of this call, it is literally think to yourself, have I got clarity in this moment? If I don't have clarity, stop for a second and think, what do I need to get clarity? Where is there unclear? Am I unclear on the question I'm asking? Are they unclear on the question I'm asking? Am I unclear on the answers that they're giving me? Am I just accepting things that sound surface level? Which brings us into step one, right? It's get real outcomes. Now, most reps, they tend to stop too early. And I think it's really a big limiting belief, but most reps, when they stop too early, they hear something like, I want to make more money, but the reality is that means nothing. So I had this sales call a while back, this massage therapist, okay? Now, when I asked her, I said, what do you want? She's like, I want to make $300 a week. Literally, she's like $300 a week. Now, most reps, they would hear that answer and they would just run with it. But I didn't. I wanted to get the why behind it. I wanted to get more than just the surface level answer she gave me. So I kept digging. Why? What does that actually give you? Why does that matter to make that extra $300? And we landed on, well, if she had an extra 300, she'd be able to buy a car in cash sooner. She'd be able to move out and actually afford rent by herself. And long term, 300 stacks into 500 stacks into a couple thousand, and then she can retire her parents. Now we're not talking about money. We're talking about what actually matters to her. And for her, it was being able to pick up the phone and call her parents and be the daughter who tells them that they're done working. I got it, right? And as soon as you can get someone to that point where it's real, where it's the actual thing driving them, you're no longer selling a program. You're changing their identity to what they want to be. That pipe dream that's been going on in their mind is becoming real to actually attaching what it is. Super important. So get real outcomes. It's going to help you. From getting real outcomes, you go step two, which is pretty simple. It's make them own the gap between where they are and where they want to be. A lot of weak closers, they tell the prospect what their problem is. That's weak. Okay? You want them to own it. So instead of you telling them what their issue is, ask them. Ask them questions until they say it. So I asked her, I was like, well, with where you're at, like, are you actually close to being able to retire your parents? And she tried to soften, she tried to pull away from it. So I tightened. I was like, are you close or not close at all? And then she said, not close. Those were her words, not my words. I could have said, so you're nowhere near it. You're nowhere close to being able to do this for your family. And she could have said, yeah, that's right. But it wouldn't have been her words. Then I did something interesting. I went one layer deeper. I then asked why, and she explained. So in terms of where we're on the call, I asked her why she was not close. Why hadn't she gotten to that point yet? And she started to explain because she's always been supported. She never figured it out herself, and she was avoiding responsibility. Now, this doesn't just become a goal. There's now a gap that she understands of what's been stopping her from getting there. So, again, please make sure your prospects are owning the gap, Never tell them how far away they are. Let them tell you. It's going to be way more impactful and it's going to be more real because it's from them. They don't care what you say. They care what they have to say. Okay. Step 3, lock in ownership. Now, this is where most reps, they fucking mess this up, right? They hear the problem and they start rushing into a solution. Don't do that. Okay. Don't move forward. Stay there. Ask them the questions. Get deeper on what the problem actually is. Why do you think this keeps happening? What's actually been stopping you? What happens when you try to change it? And she gave me everything. Not the surface level answers that I was experiencing at the beginning when she said $300 a week, but the real ownership, why it actually matters. And if they don't own the problem, I want this to land home. If they don't own the problem, they won't own the solution. And if they don't own the solution, they're going to hesitate. They're going to delay. They aren't going to move. Okay? What we're trying to do here is you're making sure that you're not just manufacturing some fake urgency. You're letting the real cost of staying the same sit in the room without having to do a cheesy cost of inaction, right? Like what happens if nothing changes, 6, 12 months from now? That's gross. It just doesn't feel right. If you can do this inside the problem section, they feel the weight of the issue without you having to stab their quote unquote pain 100 times. Because when they can paint the picture of what staying the same looks like and they feel it, there's no scarcity tactic that hits harder than that, right? You don't need to make someone's wound, so to speak, their pain bigger than it actually is. You just need to get them to actually look at the problem and be like, holy crap, yeah, that's an issue, right? Someone has a gun wound. It doesn't mean you go in and stab the gun wound. It just means, hey, bro, you've been shot. Have you looked at this? Like, have you seen what's going on right here? And after they start to see it and actually know why it's an issue, they're more likely to solve it. Most people underplay how big their problems are and don't elaborate on them. Therefore, they never make a change because they never have true ownership. Re-anchoring and clarity. This is when the objection hits, right? I was the same massage lady. She said at the end of the call, she's like, look, I don't have the money. But of course she did. She's evaluating her current situation based off of where she's at. Like, she's like, I genuinely don't have the money. How am I supposed to pay this $10,000 program? So I asked her, I was like, do you think that the way you see things affects your decisions? She said, yes. And I said, are you 100% happy with the way that your life is right now? She's like, no. I said, okay. But what happens if we keep making decisions the way we have in the past and not based off where we want to go in the future? Where do we end up? The same place. That's right. So if that's true, don't we need to make things differently? What do you think you could do today to get one step closer to your goal? But because now she's deciding from a place where she's not someone making $300 to $500 a week, she's deciding based on what she actually wants and the gap she already owns. That is clarity. And then she said, yeah, no, I agree. I need to do it. And it became a simple problem of, okay, well, what's a payment plan that can work? We ended up splitting it into 3 and we got the payment plan done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Step 5, the discomfort confirms it. When she said, I feel fear and uncertainty, most reps, when they hear that, they can either start panicking or start explaining, start justifying, start discounting, like trying to eliminate that feeling. Instead, I embraced it. I reframed, shifted her perspective around feeling the fear and uncertainty to being a good thing. I said, good. That actually means that this matters to you. And if this matters to you, it means you're actually going to do something about it. Then I gave her a simple analogy to drive it home. When you're at the gym, do you grow when you're feeling comfortable or when your muscles are sore and it's uncomfortable? She's like, oh, when my muscles are sore, they're uncomfortable. Exactly, right? You have to get into the uncomfort. You have to feel a bit of that because that's where the growth is. Or the island analogy. It's kind of like you're on an island. You're walking in circles and circles and circles. And you can either choose to use the resources on that island differently so you can get a life raft put together and actually get off the island, or you can continue to just make life more comfortable being stuck on this island of life of where you're at, or Everest base camp. The point is, I'm using analogies to shift her perspective on the issue, which is, she said, I feel fear and uncertainty. And instead of her just staying in the same comfortable spot, getting her to see that the uncomfortable path is the way to move forward, right? Staying the same is comfortable, and that's the problem. We don't want her to be comfortable. Now, the conclusion here is pretty simple. You just need clarity. No pressure tactics, battles, no convincing, just clarity. Most closers, they try to win at the end, but I tend to win in the middle by getting a good discovery where I'm challenging their beliefs, I'm challenging their perspective constantly. So by the time that we get to price, there's nothing left to overcome, just a decision that already makes sense. But then when it comes into objection handling, which naturally they're going to have one of the three objections, right? It's either going to be a smokescreen, logistical, or it's going to be fear. When it's fear, I reframe that fear. I don't try to eliminate it. I reframe their perspective on it, get them to shift how they're viewing that fear so that way they can move forward despite the fear and actually feel the fear is a good thing, not a bad thing, which it is. So that's what I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to get better at sales, do one simple thing. Keep following the channel. I'm going to post more stuff like this.